It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show!
Hey there, everybody. It's the Fellowship of the Geeks podcast. My name's Thomas Chick, and joining me for this episode is Mike Marlowe.
Hey, gang.
Les Webster.
Hello, all.
And Liz Newman.
Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing? Everybody's?
Everybody. Yep. Switching it up, you know.
So everybody's is the plural of everybody. Okay, I got it.
It is.
Sure, why not?
It's for those people who have two bodies.
I have heard weirder shit. Okay, maybe not weirder than that, but... And then there's the folks out there who ain't got nobody.
Ain't got nobody.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mel Brooks.
Yeah. I'll be back next week.
It's true, she will be.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking of Rosie Greer and, oh God, Ray Milan.
Ray Milland?
Yeah.
As the two-headed person?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Someone doesn't have a body.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're not wrong, but wow.
Great start, isn't it, folks?
Yep.
Hope everybody's doing okay out there. So what's been going on in your corner of the galaxy?
Well, I did stuff.
What?
Yeah.
Hey.
I did. I actually did stuff.
She did a thing.
I did it. I did it. Two things.
She did everybody's.
See, you give me 2 weeks off, I go crazy, man.
And here's where we get the 4-hour episode.
we know.
Longtime listener of our show, my wonderful niece Breanne is getting married. Yay!
Yay.
Her and her sister and Evie, which is my great niece, they went dress shopping. So I was able to meet them for like a little brunch. It was pretty cool getting able to sit down and catch up. And I had never been to that place I guess I was in Dallas. I'm not sure. I even went by myself.
She doesn't know where she was.
No. You plug it into the car.
Are you really
and the car's
surprised?
like,
No.
go here.
Not
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was pretty nice. I'm very excited for her. Absolutely beautiful in her dress. I got to see a picture. So her husband's going to be a very, very lucky man. So, well, even in an ugly dress, he's going to be a very, very lucky man.
I was going to say, you're not biased at all here, are you?
Not at all. But then, this past weekend, I guess my other niece didn't get enough of me. Because I'm lovable, damn it.
Wow.
Right?
And humble, too.
Yeah, and humble.
Yeah, don't forget humble. A million times as humble as you, damn it.
Yeah, you know. But we went and watched the new Beetlejuice movie.
Ooh.
I'm confused. I liked it. First, right off the bat, I liked it. I really
Once
did
again,
like
anybody surprised?
Yeah, I mean, it's Tim Burton. Even if it sucked, I was going to watch it at least 5 times, right?
Sure.
But this had a different tone than I remember the original Beetlejuice. I told myself I was going to watch it before we went, and I never got around to it. I had too many things going on. But I don't remember the first one being so much of a horror movie. I mean, yeah, he's a dead demon and, she's a goth chick, but it wasn't like scary, I don't know. It was more campy to me
I remember it having some jump scares, but nothing super dramatic.
yeah, eyeballs pop out, that kind of thing,
Mhm.
which actually was kind of funny, but this
Okay.
one, yeah, well,
I get it.
yeah, it kind of reminded me of the Tex Avery eyes, so,
Mhm.
um, this one, I don't know, had a few extra horror, gory elements to it that I didn't think we would see. Um, I know Tim Burton is like in a much different place in his filmmaking than he was when he made the original movie. What was it, 35 years ago? Was it? No, it wasn't 35
Not
years
quite.
ago.
30-ish.
Uh,
90. You're going to make me look.
yeah, I know Gina Davis was 35 because that was part of the reason they didn't bring them back.
88. So, yeah, 36 years ago.
Oh, wow. Damn.
I was about to say it was before Batman, but I couldn't remember what year.
That's right. Golly.
And Batman was 89.
Yeah, he's in a totally
We're old.
different place. And a lot of the complaints that I'm reading about is that Beetlejuice wasn't in this very much, and they had made the comment that he wasn't the main character, and I'm thinking, well, damn, the movie's named after him twice. I mean, how could he not be the main character? But I could see where they were going because this was more about Lydia and her daughter and her mother-in-law. No, not her mother-in-law. Her, stepmom. Her stepmom. I had to think who Delia was. But, of course, Jeffrey Jones was not in this movie, given the problems that he's having right now. But I thought that part was probably the most hilarious thing that they did in this whole movie. Because the movie is, it does have Delia in it. And so the movie starts off, which is not it's a spoiler, but it's not a spoiler. The movie starts off and he's dead. So she's got to tell Lydia, and Lydia's got to tell her daughter, who at this point wants nothing to do with her mom, But to explain where Charles had gone, they used clay animation for the flashback scene. And it was like, he was in a plane wreck, and she's like, oh, that's how he died. She's like, no. Then they landed in the ocean, and he almost drowned. And she's like, so that's how he died. She's like, no. A shark came along and bit him in half. So Charles is in the movie. Of course, it's not Jeffrey Jones, but he is in the movie. He's just missing the top half of his body.
Wow.
So it was like perfect. We didn't have to hear him talk. We didn't have to see him. It was perfect. But he was still in the movie. He did also say he wanted to bring back Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, but he says you don't age when you're a ghost. So it wouldn't make sense to have them there now aged. Then, try to make it work. And they could have done CGI. They could have, but we all remember Superman's mustache, right? So sometimes that's just not the best way to do things. So, but they also cleared that up like in the first 5 minutes of the movie too, of, they found a loophole. So they didn't have to be here for, was it 120 years they had to be on the earth before passing on. But yeah, so all in all, it was good. I will say there was parts of the movie that as soon as I saw it, it was like, oh, okay, well, this is about to happen. And sure enough, that came out later that, yeah, this guy was who he was and everything. But a lot of, I liked it. Like I said, it was a little bit more bloodier than I remember the first one. A little bit more. I was amazed. Now, apparently, yeah, because I was 13 when this originally came out. Lydia Dietz was like my hero. You know? She was like, oh my God, the it chick for me. So, to see what he did to her in this movie kind of was upsetting. I think he could have been nicer with her story, just given how, yeah. Like I said, I don't want to spoil too much because it just came out, but I think what he made her was the whole reason she hated Delia to begin with. So to make her anything like her stepmom was kind of a disservice to Lydia, in my opinion. So I'll leave it at that. I think it did get better, but most of the movie I wanted to go, fucking snap out of it, chick. You've been through this shit once before, But yeah, he added new little monsters. I don't know what there are, not monsters, but a little shrunken head guy. There's like 8 of them in this movie, and I think they took the movie. They were funny anytime they were in a scene. It was you were laughing. So yeah, I will say he kind of captured the feeling of the first one because, like I said, there was a lot of laughs. If you'd seen, I mean, even if you hadn't seen the first one, but if you've seen the first one, you definitely knew what was going on and where things were headed and that kind of thing. So there wasn't a lot of catch you up in this movie. There is no flashbacks. There's a couple of references to the first movie, but not a lot. So if you haven't seen the first one, shame on you. But you can enjoy the second one without seeing the first, Yeah, we actually got to see Beetlejuice's first wife and the whole reason he's dead. And I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen that girl before. But damn, I mean, she was pretty hot. And she reminded me that he was trying to take, like, Sally. If you take Sally and the Corpse's Bride, that's who this girl was. So we've already seen that character from him, so it was kind of neat to see it live action. I'm trying to find her name. Her name's Monica Bellucci. Bellucci. Yeah.
She's famous.
Is she pretty famous?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I've seen her. If I have, I didn't recognize her. Oh, she was in Bram Stoker's Dracula. Okay. Yeah. Maybe I did recognize her.
She's been in a Bond movie somewhere along the line, and she's been in a whole lot. I want to say Italian? Is that right?
I think she is.
Yeah, she's Italian. She's been in a lot of stuff for a long time.
Yeah. I think she did a really good job, too.
And yeah,
she's
hot.
Yeah. Like I said, to me, the way he had her and everything, because she's like a soul sucker. What is that, a succubus? And, so when we first see her, she's like in 20 pieces. And she has to, like, staple herself together. And so it was like, Sally. And then she puts this black wedding dress on, and it's like, Corpse's Bride. So, but yeah, I'm not quite sure why that was put in there. Other than Tim Burton was like, look at her. But I mean, not that it took away from the story, but it didn't really add anything to it either, But yeah, all in all.
Which is actually another thing that Burton is well known for, to be honest.
What's that?
Putting the woman he's dating in the movie in a role that has very little effect on the movie.
Yeah. Is he dating her?
I believe so.
Oh, damn. Go Tim Burton.
No shit, right? I'm jealous.
Dang. Yeah. Yeah, I can kind of see that now. I didn't know they were dating, but yeah, I can see now how he made this part for her.
I didn't either, to be honest. Thanks, Google.
Yeah. Huh. But yeah, I mean, not like I said, not that it was bad that she was in it,
Right.
you know, and she definitely did better than when Rob Zombie sticks baby in a movie. But just the whole, I didn't feel like that storyline was necessary for what was going on in the, you know, the main storyline between Lydia and her daughter, which Gina Ortega killed it. I guess she's on a roll here lately. And I think she's going to become his new Winona Ryder, Johnny Depp kind of person. I think you can tell he enjoys working with her. So, but yeah, like I said, I had a lot of fun. I would watch it again. I wouldn't go to the movies and watch it again, but I'll definitely watch this again when it comes out and add it to my first one just because of what it is.
Right, and also get a chance to watch the first one first and then watch this one after it to get that full effect.
Yeah, 'cause like I said, I don't remember. To me, this one had a different kind of vibe to it. The first one kind of had like a campy, funny, haha kind of vibe to it, and this one, yeah, I don't know, it didn't. It wasn't a funny, haha kind of movie. There were elements to it that was, but I wouldn't label this in any way a comedy. They did have William Dafoe in it, which I thought was hilarious. But I think we actually saw him more than we did Beetlejuice. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, that is. But yeah, and like I said, I think Burton wanted to concentrate the attention on the main storyline. So.
Right, and I mean, it's been a long time since I saw it, but I seem to remember in the first one that it was really kind of Lydia's movie.
Yeah,
Beetlejuice
it was about
there,
her,
and he had an impact for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Lydia's movie. The story was about Lydia, and it was about
Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin's characters.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to get the family out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was more their story.
And see, that's why also he said that he chose not to bring them back because he felt he told their story.
Mm-hmm. I think that's fair.
Yep.
I thought so at the time, even.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, they are mentioned, and she said they found a loophole. So
cool. That's a nice way of wrapping that up.
It was, and like I said, he did anything that you needed to know. He found a way to tell you without a flashback or 30 minutes added to the movie explaining everything. So I thought that was really good too. Just for the younger people who, like I said, maybe they have seen it or they haven't seen it, can still enjoy this on a standalone on itself.
So no pod racing. Good.
Yeah, no pod racing.
So that explains why Keaton was only in it for 17 minutes. Huh?
Yep.
Uh-huh. If he'd been in the pod race, that would have been like 50 minutes. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
3-hour movie. I don't think this movie was very long either.
Hour and 44?
Was it an hour and 44? Yeah, I mean, it wasn't short movie, but it wasn't like long. Most movies nowadays are at least 2 hours,
Right. A lot of them are.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the bigger ones. Because if you're going to spend $400 million on a movie, you might as well get your money's worth.
Yeah. And I think he will definitely make his money back on this, and then some, of course, just from nostalgia alone. It did capture those elements. We had Lydia, she's still goth. It had Beetlejuice, he's still dead. And in the first 5 minutes, they even had a little dog named Taco. So, has everything you could ask for.
So Beetlejuice didn't get better. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Just
And see, that's another thing that happened in the movie that I was kind of like, now wait a minute. In the first one, when she first let Beetlejuice out, when the lady finally pulled the dead people, I forgot their name. When she finally pulled them back into the office, she's like, "Hey, you let him out and you didn't let him back in. You know, you didn't put him back up." So she made him go back and say his name 3 times to put him back up, right? That was the whole ending of the movie, was them saying the name 3 times. Well, in this movie, it appeared that you could say his name 3 times and he would appear, but it had to be the same person to say his name to put him back away again. So I didn't get that. It was like, I thought it was, you know, say the name 3 times, he's out. Say the name 3 times, he's put away. But in this movie, they did say his name a few times, and he, you know. So I don't know. Maybe I read too much into that.
Maybe.
I'm good at that.
Can't imagine that happening. Jeez.
But yeah, there was a couple of people who said his name where it was like, now, if we went by the first movie, instead of making him appear, they would have just put him away, you know. So, but yeah. I said, all in all, it was a good movie.
Cool.
I know I've seen the kid that was in there somewhere. I don't know if he was, he reminded me of the kid that filled in for Michael Myers for a little bit. But I guess this was his first movie because I don't see anything for him. Yeah, House of Dragon. So, no, it wasn't that guy. But that's what he looked like, was that guy.
Okay.
That guy that was in that thing.
Yeah.
That's my wife. Well, you know that guy. He was in that thing with another guy.
Well, he was in the last Halloween movie as the serial killer instead of Michael.
No, Corey?
Yeah,
Corey.
Yeah. He kind of reminded me of him. And that's why I was able to call who he was in the very beginning of the movie. So. No spoilers.
But not now.
Yeah. Well, no, he plays a good bad guy, you know. So. But yeah, that's. Oh, and I also did start Rings of Power. Have you started that yet, Mikey?
I have started it.
Have you?
Doubt very seriously I will move through it as fast as you will, but I have started it.
Yeah. But we've only made it through 2 so far.
Okay. I'm not that far behind that. I made it.
Okay.
I got through the first one.
I said there's been a few things that I'm kind of like, wait.
If it makes you feel any better, me too.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Well, my biggest thing, and I won't go too far into this because that's fresh out too. Didn't Tolkien say that orcs were like the purest form of evil you could absolutely have? That there was nothing redeeming about them. You couldn't redeem an orc because they were born of evil, they're evil, and they'll die evil. They're just evil, you know? So
You
I'm
might
kind
have said
of
that. I'm not sure. Off the top of my head.
I'm kind of getting like a sympathetic vibe that they're like, oh, we just want to stay here and raise orc babies. And it's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I think you might have misinterpreted that sentiment a little bit. But yeah.
It's just kind of, you know.
I don't recall orc babies being mentioned.
Well, not orc, but you know what I'm saying. You know, it was that kind of, you know, can't we all just kind of get along kind of vibe? And it was like,
Yeah, no, that wasn't what I got out of that at all.
okay.
No, this is ours, was the feeling I got out of that.
Yeah.
We want to stay here because this is
It's
ours.
Okay. But yeah,
Like,
so it's kind of,
we already control this.
yeah, why should we continue to fight?
Right.
Because you're evil. Is that the way that works? You're never happy. You just keep going. But yeah, so
Depends
yeah.
on the leadership, but you're not too far off.
Now, the other wizard, what was it? Sauron? Sauron. Now, if Gandalf is here and he's walking around with hobbits, shouldn't he already be here too?
Maybe.
Okay.
They haven't addressed that yet. As far as to where I've gotten, they haven't addressed that yet.
No. Well, yeah.
You're ahead of me, but
Not by much. Like I said, just an episode. But they haven't really talked too much about him. So it's kind of like, I'm just curious now that they know this is who this character is. It's like, well, shouldn't Sauron have already been here? Because I can't.
Don't confuse Sauron and Saruman. They're two very different people.
Very different.
Just one syllable off.
Right. And it's the one you can't get, but anyway.
It just twists.
A little bit.
But yeah, I was just curious about that, because it's like, for one, I thought he was older than Gandalf and more experienced than him, because he was already white and Gandalf was still gray.
That doesn't have anything to do with age. Age is.
But isn't that experience?
Tolkien didn't share much in that regard.
Okay.
We don't really have much, so it'll be interesting to see how they do deal with that when it comes up in the show, because at this point there are already a lot of things that are very different between this and canonical Tolkien.
Yeah.
There's some variation between. I mean, for one thing, the timelines are a little wonky.
Yeah.
The whole ring thing did not happen at the same time as. I don't want to get too spoilery, but some of the stuff that's happening in Numenor. Those are different ages in the Silmarillion.
And have you seen the dwarves yet?
Not this season, no.
Okay. Well, when you do, pay attention to the women this time. That's all I'll say. It's like they finally listened, and they fixed a problem that they had with them. So.
Okay.
Yep. I thought that was kind of funny. But they did it in a way where you have to look, It's not.
Sure, it's supposed to be subtle.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool too. And I don't know. I enjoy the dwarf storyline so much more than everything else that's going on right now. I think they're nailing that part, and the other parts, it's kind of.
We could make jokes about short, angry people, but.
Right. But we won't go there.
They seem too easy at this point.
They got no reason to live.
I'm just not liking the Gadriel push. That gets, you'll see.
Galadriel is one of the characters that's very different.
Okay.
To be honest.
So it's not just me?
No, Galadriel is kind of absolutely nothing like she actually was in the Silmarillion or in the Lord of the Rings. She's extremely different. They rewrote that character from scratch.
Okay. Because I don't think I've read the Silmarillion.
Probably not. Very few people
I think I've
actually
only
have.
read the actual Lord of the Rings, those books, and The Hobbit. But from my opinion, I thought she was a very heroic and strong, brave person, just very honored in her circle. So it was kind of, I don't know. This version, it's kind of like she's whiny, she's conniving, she's backstabbing, and it's just not somebody she's just an ugly person, And it's like, that's not really the opinion I had of her to begin with until this series. So that's been kind of interesting too, because she's a main character,
She is. I'm not sure I've seen the backstabbing part, but she's not as forthcoming as she should be.
Yeah,
for sure. She's playing her own game,
for sure,
which is a little different.
And then
the
Brandon
game she's
said,
actually playing is very different. The way she's playing it is slightly different.
Yeah.
What did
Brandon
say?
had said, "Is this why she was banished to the woods?" And I said, "What?" I said, "She was banished to the woods." And he says, "Well, she wasn't in Rivendell." And it was like, yeah, but she wasn't banished there.
Wasn't in Rivendell when? In the Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, when the Fellowship came through. She was in, what was it, the Enchanted Forest?
She's literally the queen of her own country.
Okay.
She can't just be gallivanting around, hanging out with hobbits.
Right.
And they do go to visit her near the end of the first movie.
Oh, well, yeah, and she sees the ring again.
Yes.
And that's what he was thinking, that she was like banished to living in the woods that they met her in.
No.
So
I could set scholars off with a comment like this, but the reason in the Silmarillion, basically what it says is the reason she came to Middle Earth in the first place was because she wanted to rule. This is why she's such a very different character, because she's really more of the queen type. And the character we get in Rings of Power is very far from that.
More of a warrior kind of person.
She's more of a warrior. She's better suited in a military role.
Yeah.
Which is
maybe even
different,
a general.
Which is way different. And she's a bit petulant and very.
That's the word I was looking for. Was regal.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, she's this one. This Galadriel is not regal.
Mm-mm. Matter of fact, Sauron's more regal than she's been.
By a mile.
Yep. And see, that's what I loved, is they explained him. I loved that.
Okay, I will warn you, they made all... wait, are we talking about the first bit of the first episode?
Right, well...
Where you get the flashback?
Yeah, I shouldn't say that they explained him from the series. They explained him from the series of what happened.
That is entirely created for the series. None of that was even remotely. That was nowhere near what Tolkien did, because Tolkien never went into detail about it. Yeah, and that's, let me tell you, Tolkien was a consummate Catholic, and there's no way he would ever have come up with anything like that.
Yeah.
So there we go. It made for an interesting little story bit, but
and it kind of tied up a lot of their plot holes too. Why the hell was he out in the middle of the ocean on a piece of wood?
In a way that I'm not sure needed to happen, but still, it's fine. They're also trying to make this 10-hour. I mean, they're doing 8 episodes again, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but to get this to be 10 hours long, you're going to have to pad a bit.
Yeah.
Well, they started off right from the beginning, but anyway.
I think if nothing else, they needed to explain that bag to us and how he got it. Because it was kind of like, no, wait a minute. If you told us at the ending of the first season that he wasn't who he said he was, then where did he get the king bag from?
He literally told us that. He told Galadriel to her face where he got it. The problem is that nobody ever believes. Right, he said he took it off of a dead man.
Yeah.
That's what he said. And then they showed it, and that's what he did, which is why I don't think they needed to show it. The one thing that you could the one thing you could bank on in the first season, and I'm going back a little here, and God, we're going to go on forever about this if I'm not careful, is he actually never really lied to Galadriel.
Yeah.
And that's a modern take on Satan, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you get into like series like Lucifer, and you get into other movie representations of the literal Christian devil, and he doesn't really lie a lot.
He doesn't.
He might twist the truth a bit. He might tell it in a specific way, but generally speaking, nobody believes him anyway.
Yep.
And that's what they're doing with Sauron right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Just straight out of all of that literature. Then the deal is that Tolkien never dealt in his writing with Sauron this directly.
Do you think it's because he did kind of see him as like a devil, or?
I don't think that was the part of the story that he wanted to focus on.
Yeah.
He was more into the world building, into the languages, into the songs and the poems and stuff. That was the part that was interesting to him.
Yeah. Which is what makes the whole series interesting.
Which is why the fact that he spent 30 years, 40 years doing that before he wrote the story is why the story is so rich and entertaining even to this day. Is because there was just that much stuff in his head. It was a real world inside his head. So writing...
He already had it laid out. He just had
entirely.
to put a story into it.
Yep.
Yep.
And then the fact that he spent 20 more years or 15 more years or so continuing to build that after The Lord of the Rings. I mean, it just got better and better. The Silmarillion was published after his death. It was actually compiled by his son. It's not. It may not be what you're expecting.
Yeah.
You're better off if you're willing to sit and read like a book of mythology or a history text. That's what you're getting.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a book of myths and legends. It's not a novel. Just so you know before you get into it.
I may not like that then.
You might not. But I mean, you might. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm not telling you not to try. I'm just telling you what to expect.
I think it was probably been about a year ago now. Amazon Prime on their Prime Day had all of the books together, leather-bound set, really nice, but it had all the maps and stuff with it too. That was interesting. I had never, you see what they show you in the movies and that kind of thing, the maps of those areas, but I had never actually sat down and looked at how all of that was. So it's kind of like, now wait a minute, how did she get over here from here in 2 days? So Brandon doesn't like that I've looked at all. I do find that interesting,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the first copy of my Lord of the Rings had maps in it, and that was, I mean, to my little. At the time, I just started playing D&D, so maps were really awesome for me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I completely geeked out over them things.
Yeah. Well, then you kind of get to see, too. Is it on paper the way it was in my head?
Right.
And it wasn't.
Of course not. It rarely is.
Yep. But I think if you take out Tolkien from the Rings of Power, it's not bad. I mean, I won't say I haven't enjoyed watching it, because I have. It's just when you start laying it down of, is this right? That's when it can be like, because it's not. There's a lot of things, like you said, they've taken some liberties with. Yeah.
Sure. But I mean, Tolkien didn't write all of this stuff, and so if they wanted to do this, what they're trying to do is kind of give us some variation on the flavor of Tolkien and Middle Earth without actually trying to work around what's actually in the texts.
Yeah.
So they're trying to stay away from stuff that Tolkien actually wrote down, I think, which is kind
Crazy.
of a safer road to take
Yeah.
than interpreting Tolkien's actual work poorly. Because, I mean, the deal is the farther they can get away from Tolkien, the less likely they are to really piss people off.
Yeah.
I mean, people doing what they're doing, people are just going to ignore it. Or possibly watch it as just regular TV and enjoy it. Who knows?
Yeah. Just a
But yeah,
series of its own.
if you try to fiddle with the professor himself, you're going to piss people off, and that would be bad.
Yeah.
So this is the safe way to do it, and they can flex their own creative muscles a little bit and do something hopefully interesting to people. I can't fault them for that.
Right. Well, in the time that they were given, you know, they definitely can't go anywhere near where the movies did.
Right.
And so that kind of tied their hands behind their back to begin with,
Right.
I think.
So they chose the next safest option, which is to move way back into the past.
Yep.
Which
Let's get away from it, and
right. So
we'll deal with these people's grandfathers.
Right, and so there is stuff. Well, it's more than that, but yeah. We'll deal with stuff that people who are familiar will see kind of what happened. Will know kind of what happened in that time frame, but will be vague about it because we're trying to tell a series of stories here, basically, and so. Yeah,
I think for people, kind of like with the comic book movies, if you've only seen the movies, you'll probably enjoy it, you know. But if you've read the books and kind of looked further into the text, you're probably not going to enjoy it very much.
Well, and that can depend on exactly how much of a stickler you are for the text and how much what you really wanted to see was. I mean, the problem with that is that. And this is especially a problem with comics, is they put the visuals in your head with comics. And even if it's not comics, even if it's the Lord of the Rings, you still get visuals in your head when you read the books, and especially when you really enjoy the books because you read them more than once. And so the pictures in your head develop more clearly. And then when the movies come out, that's not what was in your head, and that turns a lot of people off.
Yeah.
It doesn't turn everybody off, but it turns a lot of people off. And you get the same issue. You get a lot of the same problem with comics because there really are visuals that they put in your head with comics. And
you can touch it. And
that doesn't make it easier. It makes it harder.
It does.
Anyway, now that we've completely lost Tom and left.
Right, sorry. Like I said, I do have questions, so after you watch more of it, I would love to pick your brain.
Yeah.
Like I said, especially in the second episode,
for what it's
you
worth.
get the dwarfs more.
We all knew she was a zombie.
So.
Yep, I will get to it soon enough. I'm gonna try to semi keep up, although I'm gonna be impressed if I can even manage one a week page.
I was not expecting them to put 3 out at one time. I don't think they did that last time.
I know, but it's not unusual for other shows to do that.
Especially for Amazon. But, actually, this last time with The Boys, they didn't. So it was kind of surprising because it was like, wow.
I don't know.
We got a lot to watch,
I don't know why they choose to do that sometimes and not others. It's weird.
Yeah. But I've only been able to watch one at a time. That's what I told Brandon. I said, let me think about this for a minute.
Sure.
And we'll watch another one tomorrow.
That's the alternative, and he's going to let you do that because the alternative is you're going to make him watch them again.
Right.
So,
he's going to sit there and listen to me like you guys just had to. Got to talk it out in my brain. Wait, did he just do that? Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't discourage anyone from watching the series because I guess like we said with the Joker and the Batman movie, as far as Elseworld stories go, it's pretty good. It is set in that that world, and you do
Sort of.
get those elements. But if you're looking for a true to Tolkien, this isn't it.
You're not gonna. I mean, that the chances of that died a long time ago. I mean,
Yep.
even the films, even the Peter Jackson movies, were not entirely true to Tolkien. I mean, let's be
Right.
realistic here. There's
They
a whole
weren't.
lot of weird stuff that they did. They changed characters left and right, and so you just kind of have to let that go and either watch it or don't is the deal. If you don't think you can handle it, then don't watch it. If you try it and don't like it, stop and don't watch
Yeah.
anymore. That's fine.
Don't like-
You're not going to hurt. The only people's feelings you're going to hurt are Amazon's, and they're not
Yep.
a people. They're a corporation. They don't care.
And while they need a little work on their story, they have nailed the scenery. It is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, sure.
So,
Even the
you know.
nasty old desert that Gandalf
Yeah.
and Nori are walking around in is still pretty damn nice looking.
It is. So they definitely they nailed that part. Middle Earth.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're moving on now.
Yep.
We're cutting this off.
We are done.
Gotta stop.
That's pretty much all I did.
45 minutes later.
I'll
I'll keep mine brief because I'm dipping back a bit. I watched this movie a couple of weeks ago, but I thought it was interesting, so I'm going to throw it out here. The title of it is Witchcraft. It is from 1964, and it is a British horror film. Oddly starring Lon Chaney Jr., who is most assuredly not British and doesn't really even try to fake it in this movie, but there we are. What you want to say about Lon Chaney Jr. in the 60s, say what you want. In this movie, I actually thought he did a pretty decent job, but his job was pretty simple, so it was not that big a deal. But this is the story of essentially two families. It's set in England. One family, the Laniers, took over the lands of the Whitlock family like 300 years before this movie started. And there's obviously weirdly still bad blood 3 centuries later, except for two young lovers, shall we say. There's a hint of a Romeo and Juliet story in this, because a Lanier and a Whitlock have fallen in love, which is actually kind of a sideline to the story, which is more about land development and witchcraft, not surprisingly, because the deal is that while the Laniers are very much Christians, the Whitlocks were not. They were very much witches and warlocks and such. And it takes a little while for it to develop, but it turns out that was not only true, because that was actually how they got the land in the first place, was they accused one of the prominent members of the Whitlock family of witchcraft and then buried her alive, and then took over the land. Well, in the modern day, the Laniers are wanting to develop the land, so they're going to build some stuff on it. And a builder, an unscrupulous builder who they're working with, decided to bulldoze the cemetery, which didn't go over well, A, and B, given the witchcraft in the movie, had another interesting effect, but that would be telling. So Lon Chaney plays kind of the head of the Whitlock family at the modern day, and he's definitely a walk around shouting at people and tapping them with his cane type guy, and he's pretty pissed about the whole graveyard getting dug up. Flashes of poltergeist there, but anyway, that doesn't come till 20 years later. But yeah, so hilarity ensues. Actually, not really. It's not a funny movie at all. it's a pretty intense movie, honestly, for what it is. I, generally speaking, really liked it. I thought it was well done. The likable characters were likable. The not likable characters were not. There's a bit of a bummer at the ending that I won't go into, but it involves a big fire. But anyway, that's as far as I'm going. But yeah, like I said, even Lon Chaney, who was not necessarily at the height of his powers in 1964, did a pretty nice job with this character. It's a pretty simple character. He basically runs around shouting at people all the time, which he was capable of doing in 64 and did pretty well. There are several other nice performances in it too. It's on Tubi, and I definitely think you should check it out.
Cool. I don't think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, I hadn't either, which is kind of why I was interested. It's fun.
Okay.
You kind of never know what you're going to get with Lon Chaney movies, so I was curious and wasn't super surprised that he wasn't really the main character. So, worked out fine.
Cool.
Who put that out?
It
was not a Hammer movie, was it?
It was distributed by 20th Century Fox.
Okay.
It was a smaller production company, Lippert Pictures.
Lippert?
Lippert. Yeah,
Robert Lippert?
Yes, Robert Lippert. Okay.
King Dinosaur. A lot of his movies have been done on Mystery Science Theater 3000, so that kind of gives you a...
Interesting. But yeah, this is not one of them. This is actually a pretty decent flick. So there you go.
Cool.
Yeah, King Dinosaur, Rocket Ship XM, a couple of others that I can't recall right now. But yeah, I would love to see Rocket XM again, but that seems to be one that they don't have the rights where they can show it again.
Interesting. Not surprising, just interesting.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah, it is.
Alrighty, Les.
Well, I spent a lot of my time on Tubi myself, and I was looking for documentaries. I found a few that I really enjoyed. One was named Schlock. It's nothing to do with the movie, the John Landis film.
Well, not directly, anyway.
No. But it was very interesting as to what they covered. There were like two different movies. One was Schlock and one was something with Steve Buscemi as the narrator. Schlock, I think, was Vincent Price, and it had a lot of good old movies that made me pull out a pencil and paper and start noting them down so I can watch them. Also,
those are probably on Tubi too.
I'm sorry?
I said they're probably on Tubi as well.
Some are, yes. In fact, I watched
Sorry.
The Old Dark House, or the first version.
The 1932?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I've seen that. That's cool. That's a good movie.
Which starred Boris Karloff shortly after he did Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
I also saw a program about Boris Karloff and talked about his rise. Had several people as guests and it was fun. If you get a chance to find these, they are interesting and still amusing in some parts. On the film about with yeah yeah, of course. With John Carradine, he had his sons appear in part of it.
I think I know
And
what
of
you're
course-
talking about. I think I've seen that one. Yeah. Keith and David showed up.
And it was just a little comedy routine with them.
Yeah, that one was kind of silly.
It was, but it was...
There was some
it
interesting
was,
stuff in it, but the
Yeah.
part with Carradine was kind of silly, which is fine.
Exactly.
It made it entertaining. It was fine.
So, yeah, I had a good time with a lot of Tubi, and you can find stuff on there and you just wonder, why haven't I heard of this? It's really interesting what is covered.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on Tubi that nobody's heard of, which makes it
Yeah.
even more interesting. I mean, some of it's terrible too, but some of it's not, and it's kind of fun to find the diamond in the rough.
The
occasionally.
knot.
Yeah, well, the knot can be fun too. Both of them can be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it can be so bad it's entertaining. I've watched a few of those.
I love a good bad B movie.
Hmm.
Oh, well, give me a call. I'm sure I'll find one for you.
One?
I bet you could name 5 right off the top of your head
Why
right
limit
now.
yourself? Jeez.
I'm testing the waters, young man.
One at a time anyway, right? Don't overwhelm her.
That's right.
Cool.
It's pretty cool. I may have to break down and watch some Tubi.
You might. Could be
Yeah.
fun.
You think with them getting as popular as they are right now and everything else, you think they'll ever offer a no commercials tier?
Don't know.
I don't mind it, though.
They did.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, the commercials aren't overwhelming. I mean, they're probably even better than like broadcast TV. I mean, you'll get. I mean, depending on the movie, you'll get 10 or 15 minutes, and then you'll get like a 2 or 3 minute commercial break.
Yeah. So that's enough for my ADD to find a squirrel.
But the nice thing is they don't run the same commercials a lot.
Over and over.
There are
Yeah.
some that do.
There's at least a rotation. They have enough that you won't see the same. Well, you can see the same commercial 2 breaks in a row, but it's not very often.
Yeah.
They have enough stuff in there
Huh.
that it's not so distracting.
Yeah.
I think I'm seriously cutting the cord this time.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
We'll see.
They cut my Disney off.
Yeah.
I am pissed. And apparently the FCC is too, so I'm not the only one pissed about this.
Well, yep.
I do think it is kind of crappy, though. Sorry, but I do think it is kind of crappy that I pay for one of the top tiers in cable in order to have Disney. It's not in every package. You have to pay for like a platinum package to get Disney. So for me to be cut off for over a week now, it's like, well, wait a minute. You know, why am I paying this amount and not this amount when I don't have the channels that you told me I would have in this package? You know, which one of them actually, it's not just Disney. Disney has like 6 channels right now that we can't watch. So it's kind of like, this is bullshit.
The problem is that that's the way their contract works is that they have to pay Disney X amount to have them on their service. So yeah,
Yep.
they're going to charge the viewers more to
So if you're
make up for
charging me
that.
more, where's it
Well,
at?
quit. I mean, that's your option. Walk away.
But
Downgrade your thing away
I
from
think
it.
they should have to refund probate. I think they should.
You're funny.
You're not giving me what I signed up for, what my contract says that you would give me.
That you signed up for a contract, but the reason you signed up for that contract is not their problem. And I bet you money that in the terms of service it says that.
But I signed their
mean-
contract for a certain package, which included certain channels. So it doesn't matter if it's Disney Channel or Discovery or ABC or Fox. It doesn't matter what channel it is. I'm still not getting the channels that I'm paying for.
And I'm sure they believe that they're being faulted in this as well. So they probably think you should be on their side.
And I understand big business and da-da-da-da-da. You got to negotiate, and sometimes you got to play a little hardball. Cool. But it should never affect your customers.
Yeah.
That's between you and them. I should have never have known about it, you know?
There was a big failure at that. That's why it's at the point it's at now.
Yeah. But see, what sucks is they're doing this to kids' channels, too. And this is going to sound so bad, but there's kids that have routines built around, we know at 11 o'clock Peppa Pig comes on, and she knows it's lunchtime. And she's also learning that Peppa Pig means it's 11 o'clock. We've set a routine and these things happen at certain times. So it's kind of like it's fucked. It's all fucked up. So I can go over to the Disney app that I paid for, but it's not busted down. They're not showing you live. Plus they sit you and make you sit there. Okay. Bluey is a 30-minute cartoon with 2 episodes inside of it. So each episode is 15 minutes long. On the Disney app, it's 15-minute episodes. It's not the 30 minutes like you get on TV. Every 15-minute episode, you have to watch the intro to that episode and all the credits. Disney hasn't learned, like Netflix and them, to cut that shit off. Nobody wants to see who did the voiceovers in Australia. We don't want to see that. We don't care.
If it's any consolation, if you're watching on Tubi, if you're watching an episodic TV show type thing, there's a skip intro option. Just so you know. Tubi
that's
has
the way it should be.
Disney may not, but Tubi has.
Disney does not have that yet.
See, Tubi is
and
better
they
than
also
Disney.
don't have
right
where you can skip to the next episode. You're like halfway through the credits because I kid you not, these credits are like 5 minutes long. You're halfway through it before they even give you the option to go to the next one. Now, I know how to work a remote and get to the next episode, but does my 5-year-old? No. So every 10 minutes, it's Mimi. Mimi.
I'm surprised a 5-year-old doesn't understand that.
Yeah. Anything else she could.
Clearly,
but,
somebody doesn't let her touch the remote very often, because otherwise she'd have figured that shit out.
Now, like the Roku remote, she's got that figured out and everything else. But Disney's a little bit harder to find what you're looking for and how they play their episodes and stuff. On Netflix, I could turn it on and leave it on for her, and it's fine. It does its thing. It cuts intros. It cuts the titles, goes on to the next episode by itself. Disney doesn't do that. Every 2 episodes, you have to tell them, yes, keep playing. Yes, keep playing. Well, Bluey, like I said, is only 15 minutes. So every 30 minutes, I'm having to tell Disney, yes, we're freaking watching this. Go to the next episode.
You're just mad because it means you have to watch it too.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of, it sounds lazy, but it's a lot of fucking work. If I'm trying to get the dishes done and I have to stop every 10 minutes to go and, go to the next episode, it's bullshit.
Not I don't like it, it's bullshit.
It's just bullshit. Especially for someone like me, who I have ADD, to where if I get distracted, I may not go back to the dishes. I may go, dogs need food, or oh, the cat need, so it is a lot of work. To where it's nice to have it on TV. Like I said, she was learning her times around that, and yeah.
And the sad part is, and wow, we are off again. But
Yeah.
the sad part is she's going to have to learn how to reset those herself eventually anyway, because
Yeah.
she's going to have a different daily schedule at some point.
Right.
And so
That's what helps, though, is when you have routines, though, it's easier to make a routine when you've been in one.
Sure. No argument.
You know.
I agree. And you're talking to a guy who is entirely a creature of routine. So
Yep.
I have to make my own all the time anyway. So
Yep.
And it's a comfort
And it's
thing,
annoying when something happens off your routine,
Oh,
we
yeah.
deal with the seasonal
100%.
changes of the cartoons and that kind of thing, but we're doing like pre-K work now, where it's learning our times, and
Mm-hmm.
even if we're not watching TV, we know if the TV's on and Peppa's on, it's 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Except
lunchtime.
that now, to maintain that, you're going to have to manually do that.
Yeah.
So you're not mad for the kid, you're mad for you.
I am. I am.
Which is perfectly fine. That's perfectly valid.
Which is why I pay for all this stuff, for convenience.
Uh-huh. Well, your convenience might go away soon.
Yep.
So,
yeah, crazy.
yep.
So yeah, I may give Tubi a try. Like I said, I hope they offer a, fast forward button, or, something.
Hopefully they'll do something like that in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, there's just a mute button.
Yeah. Open another tab.
That's a thought. Which, well, knowing you, that's exactly what's going to happen. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ta-Tom. What do you got this week?
My computer's fine. Thank you for asking. Not a lot on my end.
Good thing. We ain't got time for it.
Good night, everybody.
I'm kidding.
It's kind of funny, and I probably should have posted something about it. But I guess last weekend, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, apparently was Frank Conniff's birthday. It was sometime that weekend. So one of the Mystery Science Theater channels on YouTube has been exclusively showing the cinematic Titanic episodes.
Cool.
And they're still showing all of those. So, and I know you had, Mikey, you said you hadn't seen those, or was kind of interested. So, it's still going on. It's I'm sure it'll go for a while, because it seems like the one that was celebrating Sandy Frank's birthday went like all of July and in probably halfway into August, so they'll probably do the same thing with celebrating Frank's birthday. So, but yeah, it's definitely worth checking out, because I think I said before that I really love. I seem to like the live performances more than the regular shows. I guess it's because of the audience reaction to it and all that. I don't know, but I kind of kicked myself, because there was one of the ones that they did live was East meets Watts. And it's a kung fu blaxploitation. They try to do all of it together. One of those type of films, and it's not. Of course, it's not good. But kind of kicked myself because I was like, one of the lead actors. I was going, I know him. And it was Spear Chucker from MASH.
Oh, yeah.
Timothy, I can't remember his last name right now. But
The movie MASH.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the he was in the first season.
He did show up in the first season. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was. I mean, it was only like 8 episodes, if that.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, they got rid of him pretty quick. There was a lot of characters they got rid of in the first season pretty quick. But he stars in it, and James Hong is in it as the bad guy. Hey, surprise!
Right. It's weird when he doesn't play the bad guy.
Right. And Aldo Ray's in it. And it's just it's just so bad. But
70s fest right there.
Geez. Yeah. But it's so much fun watching the live performances because I just laughed my ass off. And I think we need to watch one of those all together because I would love to hear your reactions to it.
Maybe a Discord event coming up sometime soon.
Yeah.
I keep offering.
But there's the live ones they did there's that one. There's like Danger on Tiki Island. I believe that was the name of it. And it's funny because it's like all of these have 2 or 3 different titles. It's like that seems to be a common theme with all of them. Oh God, the Alien Factor was another live performance. And speaking of MASH, there was one of the regular ones they did was called the Doomsday Machine. And I actually read into this a little bit. This was a film that apparently it was filmed maybe 2/3 of the way through, and then I don't remember exactly what happened, but there was like a break, and then they came back and hastily did the ending, and you can kind of tell. But I mean, amongst the stars is Bobby Van and Ruta Lee, and there's a bit part from a young Mike Farrell as a reporter.
Huh. Cool.
Oh God, it's horrible, and it doesn't make any sense, especially when you can. Cause it starts off one direction, and all of a sudden, then there's like this humongous left turn. And you're going, okay, then what the hell did the first part mean? It's that type of stuff. So, but yeah, those. Yeah. Some interesting films. They definitely found some interesting films to do for cinematic Titanic. So, yeah, definitely go check them out. They're on YouTube. Accidentally went down the rabbit hole of
You're just now noticing that?
No. I'm surprised it's still going on because, oh my God, how long's that been? Of body cam videos, the police videos of their and all that. Once again, YouTube, you watch one and then all of a sudden all your suggestions are variations off of that. I'm like, oh God. And yeah, I mean, I watched a few of those because I used to watch Cops back in the day. I didn't watch it when it was new episodes, or I catch one here or there.
Yeah.
And And I kind of and doing this again kind of reminds me why I stopped watching it. Well, because I mean, it's kind of interesting to see what's going on and all that. Yet, my God, the patience that some of these officers have.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I would have tased your ass 10 minutes ago
Yeah.
because you're a fucking moron. So, but there's one that I bookmark, and we may, I don't know. We may put it on the show notes or not. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I bookmarked it because I go back. The very first incident. I go back and watch about 5 minutes. I mean, I continue to go back during that 5 minute period because I laughed my ass off. And it's sad, but I laughed my ass off at this because it's a 50-year-old woman, and this has happened in April 2022, who apparently drank before she went to work, and she I'm going to go ahead and say it. She worked for Amazon. She worked like the late shift. She talked about being able to get off work early, so she did. And the cops were called because she eventually wound up in front of a liquor store, parked in the handicap parking lot, asleep, and had been there for at least an hour. So they come out and they start trying to do the sobriety test, which of course she couldn't do. Then she starts complaining. It's like nobody would do this. Nobody walks like that. And it's like okay. Like I said, she's already getting on my nerves because of all this. And of course she starts giving them grief and all that. Here comes the part where I just laughed my ass off. I don't know if it's true for all states, but there are several states. I don't even know if Texas has this, but apparently, if you get a driver's license, one of the conditions is you automatically have, if you're suspected of a DUI and you're taken down to jail, you're supposed to, they got to read this stuff and then you do the breathalyzer. Now you could decline to do it. You can refuse, but the thing is if you refuse, apparently, and this is like in New Jersey, you automatically get your license suspended for a year.
Texas too.
It's a Texas too. Okay, all right.
Yep.
And if you refuse and then you're actually convicted of a DUI, then obviously it's going to be a longer period of time. So here we are. They're wrapping things up, and she's going, okay, I'm ready to take my breathalyzer test. And they said, no, you refused. She's like, what? So don't you remember we were and talked about the fact that they read this freaking big ass paragraph of all the stuff they got to do for legal reasons, and your response was, I will lose my license for 6 months. I refuse to do it. And of course she's having a fit. She's like, no. I want to take it. It's like, no, it's too late.
Too bad.
You refused. And oh God, she was just, she's like, and one of the officers is like, don't you remember that part where you were screaming at the arresting officer, hoping he would kill himself? when you were telling him that was when I was typing in the information saying that you refused to take the breathalyzer test. And she's just like, oh. So he's like, yeah, you're gonna get charged. You're gonna get charged for refusal and a DUI.
Yep.
Oh God, I mean, she's like, my lawyer says I should take it. I want to take it. But I'm sorry, you refused. And that same officer was like, if you had actually cooperated instead of having your fingers in your ear going blah 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 when we're doing this wouldn't have happened.
Because actually, I think they're required to ask you twice.
Yes.
You've got to say no twice. And after that second time, now they can be nice and ask you for a third time if they want. But, legally, they just got to ask you twice. And if you say no both times, sorry about you,
Yep. Now you can see why I go back and watch that over and over and over again. Because I'm kind of taking a perverse joy of her stupidity. You know what? You were being an asshole to them, and there you go.
Here it is. Yep.
Karma's a bitch.
That's why I watch court shows. This is after the cops have already got done with them, and then you get to see the judge and what she's going to do to them.
Yeah, that's the thing, because this was, like I said, from April 2022, and I did a little looking around, and of course I don't know her full name or anything, and I actually went to the website, and they were like, "Oh yeah, 51-year-old woman, no information, so I can't find out what the hell happened."
Oh man!
I mean, they give me a list of all, the show lists all the charges that they threw, but that don't mean shit.
No.
Right, they throw those charges all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes half of those get dropped before it even makes it inside the courtroom.
Right. So
pretty cool.
that was fun to watch, but I mean some of them were pretty sad.
Yeah. Some of them were pretty methed up.
Yikes.
Oh God, I would really want to wring the neck of this girl, because she's a college student. And of course, she got pulled over for DUI and all that. And of course, she failed the sobriety test, and they took her in. And she's just having fun. She's at the hospital. Of course, it's one of the states where they take you to the hospital first before taking you down jail. And she's just living it up, all that. And of course, the officers on the other side of the room, and she turns and looks at him and says, "So am I going to be able to go to school tomorrow?" And he says, "No." And she's like, "How come?" And he said, "Did you
just don't work that early?"
Well, I mean, did you not listen to what I said you're being charged with? You're being charged with DUI, and you're being charged with vehicular manslaughter because you ran over two people. And she just has this blank look on her face. She says, "Well, can I go to school Tuesday?" I'm like, "Oh God." I mean, they showed some of the footage from the car, and they had some of the stuff pixelated because there was like a leg trapped underneath the car. And I'm like, oh my God! And you were just told that you killed two people, and
you're worried about school.
No effect. Yeah, no, it doesn't even register on you.
Wow.
That's how gone she was. I think
the way it works.
I think if I remember correctly, I think she was like 3 times over the limit.
God.
I think she was like 0.2. I think 249. I believe is what it was.
That's a lot.
That is. Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I watched some of those. I'm like, yeah, this is the reason why I don't watch this anymore. Too freaking aggravating.
It
It's
is.
hilarious
Idiots.
and depressing at the same time.
Yes. Yeah. Well, if it's not idiots like that, it's people who are obviously have some psychological issues and all that, and that's kind of sad to see too. So,
Right.
Yeah.
That's also hard to watch.
Yep. So, all right. You know what? Let's take a break, and then we'll get into this week's discussion. Welcome back. Let's get into this week's discussion. One of our favorite networks, I think it's one of our favorite channels, is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. Turner Classic Movies.
Yay.
Yay!
That's rejoicing.
Mm-hmm. Am I mistaken saying it's one of our favorite networks?
I think so. I think it is.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think you are.
So, figure we take some time to kind of talk about this network. I am so glad that this channel came along because it has introduced a bunch of movies and actors that I probably would never have taken the time to check out.
Yep, it gave us access to a lot of stuff we didn't have access to, basically.
Right.
Back in the day. Back when we didn't have all that shit on YouTube, and back when there was no Tubi and no streaming.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Yes, because these are movies that would not be. A lot of them would never be on the main networks. You know, they would show more to the current stuff instead of something from, say, the 30s or 40s or 50s, that type of thing. So
Unless
yeah,
it's Christmas related, of course.
Of course. So let's talk a little TCM. Let's give TCM some TLC.
Oh, you've been saving that one up, haven't you?
That's why you picked the show.
That's why I get paid all the big bucks.
Every penny of it.
Wait, you get paid?
No, he does not. Double his salary instantly. 2 times 0 is still 0.
Still 0.
I was honestly, when you put this one on there, I was like, that's only been around for 30 years.
Yeah.
Oh man. Apparently I watched the hell out of it in the 90s. I don't know.
I had thought it had been around longer too.
I think that's just because we're old.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, you're old. I'm not old.
Sorry, right. I'm the one who's old, sure.
Uh-huh.
Let's go whoa here.
We could stop working our way up this chain, right?
Chain.
Oh man, is that the first Aretha Franklin reference of the night? I'm not sure anymore. We started off the evening with a bunch of obscure song references.
Probably the first one, yes. You're probably right.
I think it might be. Anyway, TCM. Yeah, this movie kind of sank right into my wheelhouse for sure, or this channel kind of settled right into my wheelhouse because I always liked older movies anyway. I mean, even back when I didn't have access to them, the very few that I could get my hands on, I would watch. And then this came along, and I was like, ooh, older movies. So I kind of went nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really had access to it for the last several years after cutting the cord, like
Right.
10 plus years ago. But um, yeah, I still got a soft spot in my head, I mean heart, about TCM because yeah, I got to watch a lot of cool old movies.
I like their Halloween lineup. I think they do, what is it, the 31 Days of Halloween? They usually start the end of September, though, so you get a little bit more than 31 Days of Halloween.
Bonus
But
Halloween, woo!
they they they're good about not only playing the classics, which of course, if you want to watch the classics on Halloween, this is the channel to tune into. But they're also real good about mixing some of the newer stuff with that. So it's not just classic. I mean, it's classic now. I keep forgetting that I'm a classic now.
Now.
But yeah,
See,
so
that's the
it's
problem. Was I used the word old. If I had just said classic, she would have bought
classic.
it, hook,
Yeah,
line, and sinker.
Mm.
yeah. They've always got some of the best stuff for Halloween.
Yeah, they're always good about doing all the Hammer stuff for Vincent
Universal
Price
stuff too.
and the
I
Universals.
mean, that's
Yeah.
honestly where I got to see some of those for the first time.
Yep.
Yep.
Was
Same
watching
here.
them.
Mm-hmm.
And the great thing also about them is if you miss it one day, they have like cycles with their movies.
Mhm.
So it's on like Monday and you may see it again Wednesday as it's making, the turnaround again.
Yeah,
I
they'll
think
show it like
movies
5
usually
or 6
play.
times over a couple of weeks span, and then swap it out for something else, which is awesome.
Yep. So you can come in at any time.
Hmm.
And I like the ones in the evenings because sometimes they'll have either the writer there or the director or somebody who kind of gives you a short little, oh yeah, when I was making this kind of thing. And then during the commercials too, they'll kind of give you breaks where he's talking about, yeah, what the production was like, or maybe working with some of the actors that are in the film or whatever. So they kind of give you the behind the scenes without all of the behind the scenes stuff,
Right, some a little bit of trivia about it and some
Mm-hmm.
interesting outtakes and stories and stuff. Yeah,
Yep.
imagine that bunch of movie nerds like us
Yep.
being excited about such things.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy. Crazy for
Loony.
Yeah, pretty good variety, I would say.
Yep. Quite a few kind of rip-off channels these days too.
They try.
You get some of the like the digital channels up in the high numbers. What used to be the UHF stations back in the day. Man, I'm dating myself with that one. But yeah, you get like movie channels that will show old stuff for like on all day Saturday or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes the older. I don't want to say this wrong, so put your shovels away, okay? Put the bus back in the garage. A lot of times the people who try to play like the classic movies, they wind up getting like the D-list movies that even back then nobody wanted to watch them. You know? That Turner movie classics, they're good about picking the classics that were either, pop culture at the time or, the more popular, I should say, movies. So it's not now they'll play some B-list movies, don't get me wrong, but even at that, they're the good ones.
Right, and I think
So,
it's a question of when they were building their reputation for actually taking old movies seriously, they had Ted Turner bucks in their pocket, so they could afford to buy to get the rights to play the good stuff.
yeah,
Whereas one of the cheapy off-brand
getting
movie
leftovers.
channels now can't because they just don't have that kind of money. So they kind
Yeah.
of get what they can. They get the best they can get their hands on, but sometimes that's not the best. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a legit point.
Yeah.
And like I said, TCM built the reputation over the first few years they were going that they were doing right by the movies they were showing and the movies they could get the rights to, and so I think that opened up some options for them.
Yeah. Bug. Sorry, Taco. Shh. Sorry.
It's fine.
Oh,
They wanted to be on the show. It's cool.
he did. But I'm still here.
That was Buggy's for I agree with the previous statement.
Pretty much.
I was trying to see. Amazon's got a good channel that plays some of the classic movies, but I'm not able to find it now. But yes, I think TCM is probably one of the best ones if you're wanting classic movies.
Yep.
Les, your thoughts?
I was happy when this came about because I remember the times that they showed some of the best old movies and then they started separating them to honor an actor or actress or a director, or one of the big things I like is the film noir they have, because I get to see some old gangster movies.
Yep.
And thoroughly enjoy those. They have, I can't remember the host's name, but he is an author also. And it's fun to listen to him talk about the background for a movie. And it's amazing that they do show different movies all the time. I was looking at the layout for the upcoming months, and I noticed on the 15th, which is next Sunday to us, they're showing the 7% solution at 7 p.m. our time.
Nice.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's on the 22nd. But if you go through this, there are some of these that I want to see so bad again. Sunshine Boys is going to be on.
Oh.
And that is on Monday the 15th.
Enter!
Yes.
I hadn't seen that in forever. I may have to sit down and watch that. Well, if it's on Monday,
Oops. Well, hopefully they'll show it again, you know.
Yeah.
It's 12:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
George Burns and Walter Matthau. Yes.
Yeah. You get to see some of the things that you won't see on some of the other channels. And I get to see some movies that are just are rarely shown, yet I want them shown about every week.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite Halloween movie is during that time. And believe it or not, it's not Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 10, Halloween the End, or anything like that.
It's House of the Long Shadows. I know.
Oh man, I was gonna say Die Hard, but okay.
No, that's Chris's movie.
Yeah, right. Sorry.
No, my favorite is Arsenic and Old Lace with Cary Grant
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and Peter Lorre, among others.
Mm-hmm.
So something like that, it always makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
If I recall coming up, don't know exactly when, but they're showing Casablanca,
Cool.
which is definitely one to sit down and watch.
Mm-hmm.
This channel has let me watch Inherit the Wind again and again. 12 Angry Men, the original version. Some Silence. Some over talking. There's some movies that just drive me nuts because they just do nothing more than talking or scream at one another. So I really enjoy this channel. And if you go to tcm.com and hit schedule, they will show the schedule for the movies that they're going to show. And then if you hit the posting of the movie, it'll give you a small summary, the director and cast members. So this is something that, to me, you need to take in. You need to just enjoy. So, yeah, it's really astounding as to what they can do. And thank goodness that they do so many different movies. And yeah, they'll have, like I said, they'll have a actor or such of the month and show you movies that person is attuned to. So to me, this is one of the best things that came out of them almost ever.
Yeah.
The host you were mentioning, Robert Osborne.
Right.
Yeah.
The late great Robert Osborne.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he doesn't do the film noir. Film noir is Eddie somebody.
Oh, you were talking about a different host.
Yeah.
Eddie Mueller.
Yeah, Eddie Mueller.
Thank you. Mueller's is just so much fun to watch because he even talks like a gangster when he discusses this. So if you get a chance to see one of those movies, which are usually on Friday and or Saturday, it's good stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's because of TCM that I've developed a love and an appreciation of Westerns.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure. Blame them.
Wow.
No, they
Ouch.
used to do a day of westerns, just like they did a day of noir and a day of monsters and all that stuff. I remember seeing those on there.
If I may, I'll even tell you this.
Okay.
On Friday the 13th, imagine this, at 2 a.m, Demon Seed. That's with Julie Christie, Fritz Weaver, and the like.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Followed by Brainstorm of 1983. Christopher Walken, Natalie Wood.
That was Natalie Wood's last film.
Yeah. They're followed by Seventh Victim. Now, this is all in the morning. But the seventh victim is Tom Conway, who, if I recall, Thomas, you may have seen in some of the westerns they've shown.
Mm-hmm.
Followed by Cat People, Curse of the Cat People, Bedlam, Isle of the Dead was Boris Karloff. That's at 11 in the morning. Followed by Ghost Ship, I Walked with a Zombie.
Light Zombie?
No, they don't have that, but they do have Leopard Man, Body Snatcher, Val Luton, a documentary on Val Luton, the
Cool.
director.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it for that kind of monster stuff. Then they finish off with Reds at 7 and the Parallax View, which is at 10:30.
Wow.
Parallax View with Warren Beatty and Hume Cronin.
Yep.
So
it sounds like an evening of Warren Beatty if the Reds precedes it.
it could be, yeah.
God, Brainstorm. That's one I hadn't thought of in a while.
Which one?
Brainstorm.
Brainstorm, yeah. But you better set your recorder because that's at 3:45 in the morning.
I think I've got the DVD here somewhere. Back when I was buying all that stuff. Oh.
And that was Douglas Trumbull.
Yeah.
As the director. So if you get the chance, there we go.
Cool.
Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And as I understand it, even if you're a cable cutter like a lot of us, you can get it through Max.
Can you?
That is my understanding.
You can, yeah, there are some, but they're not showing what's currently on TV. They'll have old movies, but not a lot of them either. I wish they did.
That's a bummer.
You are right. Both of you. Yep.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
And if I may, to set off Friday's group of movies, on the 12th of the month, you have at 7 o'clock is 2001: A Space Odyssey, followed by Alphaville, and Logan's Run at 11:45 in the evening.
We've talked about at least 2 of those movies on our show.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes.
Ah, yes. I would love to see Outland again.
Outland?
Yes.
Outland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Sean Connery and Peter Boyle. Yeah.
That was the good Sean Connery space movie.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, man.
Because what was it? Zardoz?
Zardoz.
Oh, no. That hurts so much.
That's a movie that I've kind of always wanted to see, but I can't bring myself just because of all the bad crap I've heard about it.
Yeah.
One of these days I'm just going to break down and do it. But
Well, there's always Meteor. You can watch that one. That's a Sean Connery film, too. Nobody knows this one?
I've heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard of it. Not
Well,
sure
they're
it's gonna make up for the spectacle that is Zardoz, but anyway.
Well, I mean, you don't have to worry about seeing Connery in red diapers walking around. Red diapers and black thigh-high boots.
The old classic banana hammock, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I pull this up on Max, one of the first movies that pops up is Fantastic Planet. Which one of you guys made me watch that? Where's one of you?
That's the animated one?
Yeah, from 1973.
I think Les recommended it. Not that I'm throwing him under the bus. I actually wouldn't mind seeing it. I just haven't tracked it down.
It's on
Well,
Max.
here, back it up. It's coming. No, I will admit, yeah, I probably did that.
Yeah. I remember watching it, and it's not like it was a bad one. It was just kind of one of those that was like, wait, what? What?
It's more like, wait, huh?
Let me back this up. Did I miss something? No, I didn't miss anything. But it's one of those you at least have to watch it once, you know.
Yeah. And I appreciate you watching it because it makes me feel a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I liked it. It was just kind of weird.
I believe I want to say that he warned us of that when he recommended it.
Yeah.
He said it was weird but good.
And I think that's why I watched it, because it was like, what is Les calling weird? If he admits it's weird, I need to see
that. That is
it.
an important question of our time. I'm just saying.
But no, it was, like I said, it was different, but it was definitely not like anything other that's out there. Even now, it's definitely different. And it's funny because they suggest watching the other one that I know Les told me to watch, the infomercials.
Sure.
Yeah.
The what
That's
now?
another one that's like, wait, what?
Oh.
Yeah. One of them. It doesn't say when that was made, though. And also just kind of scanning the stuff that Max has, I would say they're more prone to playing colored than black and white. They do have a lot of the black and white, but they have a lot more of either remastered or colorized versions of things.
Yeah, that was a thing that Turner was into back in the day too, was colorizing stuff. I mean, they were restoring stuff too, but
Yeah.
unfortunately they were into colorizing stuff when colorizing didn't look as good as it does now. So, you know, he was setting a trend, but, you know, often the trendsetter is not necessarily the best in the field.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like that they break it down like 70s, 80s, 90s.
Cool.
Dang, I got a playlist put together already.
There you go.
Yeah. They have The Wizard of Oz. I haven't seen that in forever.
Don't know if I ever need to watch that movie again. It's been so burned into my psyche from watching it repeatedly as a kid. Don't get me wrong, it's great. Don't get me wrong. It is a great movie. It deserves whatever accolades it gets. It deserves being preserved. I just think I remember it all in the whole,
Yeah.
in its entirety.
That and Alice in Wonderland will always have a little special place in my heart.
Well, you can always watch The Wiz.
Oh.
Get on down the road.
Oh. Please.
Oh, it was a valiant effort
Yeah.
at
What's sad is
modernizing
when
a
I started,
classic.
you guys all sang it in your head.
I enjoyed Oz the Great and Powerful much more than that.
Yeah. That was with Mayer, wasn't it?
I'm sorry?
Wasn't that with, was that John Mayer?
John Mayer's a singer.
Oh.
No.
The guy who plays him looks like him. James Franco.
Yeah, James Franco.
Yeah.
Oscar Mayer.
Known for the disaster movie.
That guy is full of baloney.
You know, not to totally get off rail, but
Oh, yeah. We don't do that here.
Yeah,
we don't.
Totally.
No tangents here. We talking about.
but didn't Oz the Great and Powerful remind you of Cinescope's twist on Wizard of Oz?
In retrospect, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. With, you know, the way that like, especially like Mila Kunis's part, how she didn't know she wasn't wicked yet, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Wicked.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're just tying it all back to comics. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. I like their takes on fairy tales.
Wicked good.
Watch. Crack that whip.
Wow. And now we're on Devo.
Oh, man. My sister almost broke her back to that song.
That's just how we danced back in the 80s.
Yeah. When you introduce a chair in that mix, though, bad news.
That's probably a bad idea, yeah.
Crack that back.
Oh, man.
That stupid Flashdance movie nearly killed a lot of us. But anyway.
Yeah. Definitely made a lot of us wet.
Warm the water up. That's all I'm saying. Warm the water up before you do that.
The 80s were classic.
Mm-hmm. In their own way. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Is there anything that you folks would like to see again?
I would be hard pressed to name anything specific, but
Heck, I just put a list together.
Oh, yeah. I could understand that
and
part.
I have a
Yeah.
monster list on Tubi, so I could easily jump in there and start doing the same thing. So
Yeah.
Well, on here they have Eraserhead, Jack and the Beanstalk, King Kong,
which King Kong?
the black and white one.
The original.
Yep, 1933.
Bay Ray, yeah. Cool.
You have Wizard of Oz.
What? Come on. We need to see the 76 version.
They've even
We
got
don't.
Beetlejuice on here.
Oh,
You
there
definitely
go.
do not have to.
70s version of The Exorcist. Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Yay.
Oh, I bet I would. There's all just the one Godzilla movie? Come on.
No,
That's a
Godzilla
bunch.
versus Gigan. Is it Gigan? Gigon? Gagan.
Again.
Gigan.
Go Gan.
The War of the Gargantuas.
Ooh, the two Frankenstein monsters, yeah.
Uh-huh.
God, that was horrible.
So, weekend plans. Rodans. And see, here's the thing I like. I've named off almost all of the older Godzillas, and then they have one of the newer ones, Godzilla King of the
Almost all of
Monsters.
the older? Come on now.
It
There's
looks
like
like
40 of them things. You only named off
Terror
like
of
4.
Mecha Godzilla, Son of God. Well, I was looking at the rest. Son of
Okay.
Godzilla.
When was King of the Monsters done?
Let's see. King of the Monsters.
56? 54?
Yeah, I think wasn't that the one with
Nope, that
Perry
was
Mason in it, Raymond Burr?
Yeah.
No. Godzilla King of the Monsters was 2019.
Oh, yeah, they redid
Oh.
it. That's right. They redid it. I don't think Raymond Burr was in that one.
No.
And see, here's one of the things I'm wondering though, since this is on Max, are they suggesting the newer ones because I am looking at the older ones that Max is playing, or to me it seems like 2019 would be too new for TCM.
Well, for TCM it probably is, but that doesn't mean that they wouldn't just pull related stuff from the rest of the Max catalog.
Yeah, true. That's what I was thinking, is maybe there were, because I'm looking at the TCM channel on Max, but it looks like it's a little bit mixed.
Right.
All monsters attack. Oh my goodness. That thing looked like a clay blob.
It probably is.
Yeah. Do you remember Giggle Snort Hotel? And at the very end, or usually about the middle of it, he'd always like redo that clay thing and put different eyes on him. But the whole time he was, why me? Why me? No? Okay.
Where was this?
Let's see. Giggle Snort Hotel.
Was this a local show?
1975. The cast was Bill Jackson.
Just him, huh?
Just him. The rest of them were like puppets and stuff.
Ah.
Is this a weekly show or was this a movie?
It was a weekly show. Looking on here, it said it ran from 75 to 78. So more than it's 78 episodes. So I probably watched the reruns of this.
Oh, because you were too young, right?
Well, yeah,
We're
I
back
was
to
born in
that.
75. Remember there was all those warnings about putting your babies in front of TVs and microwaves?
I'll have you know, nothing happened to me.
Dang, now I'm going to have to find that and watch it.
Okay.
But yeah, it was like a Saturday morning kind of, weekly kind of thing. And I think later on, it was like they played it with like Casper and Wendy and that kind of stuff too. So it was like originally it was a Saturday morning that got bumped to like after school kind of thing.
Yeah, Slime Bang Theater.
Interesting. It's based out of Chicago.
Was it?
Yeah.
Like Bozo?
Huh.
Yep, Bozo was based out of Chicago. To answer your question, Les, I wouldn't mind seeing Looker again. It's been a long, long time.
I'm sorry, which one?
Looker?
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I can understand that.
Considering what's going on now, it seems kind of prophetic, Well, the whole things of human actors and models being replaced by digital versions of them.
Oh, yeah.
think that was a Crichton script and directed, I think.
It's called Looker?
Yes. With James Coburn, Susan Day, and oh god,
And the
I'm
other
I'm blanking on his name. He played
He was in that thing.
he played Perot on Murder on the Orient Express.
Okay.
He was also
Peter Ustinov?
Albert Finney?
yeah, Albert
Okay.
Finney. Yeah.
Wrong Murder on the Orient Express. Sorry.
That's all right. Yeah.
Interesting.
It is. Michael Crichton, huh? Huh.
Yeah.
I'll have to put that one on my list too.
Yeah, I think he directed it. I know he wrote it, but I think he directed it too.
He did that a few times.
Mm-hmm.
He was most noted for what again?
Michael Crichton?
Mm-hmm.
He's probably, at this point, movie-wise, he's probably most noted for writing Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what I know him by.
He did stuff like The Andromeda Strain. And
That's it.
oh, that was a quiz. You were, okay.
Yeah.
You were looking for that. Gotcha. That's why I started trying to list more after Jurassic Park. Because I knew.
Well, I appreciate that. And Liz, that was before your time, I know.
Another interesting movie.
Yeah.
Pretty good book, too.
Yep. Written by him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember if he directed that one. He did direct a few of his own movies, but I don't remember if Andromeda Strain was one of them.
No, I think he just wrote the book. Maybe
Probably had a hand in the screenplay.
Yeah.
Okay, now
Very
we've gone
cool.
entirely off the rails with old movies because, we do that.
Pretty cool. So like variety. Definitely a variety of shows here.
Mm-hmm. Lots of fun stuff.
Yep.
Something for everyone.
Okay. Any final thoughts before we take another break?
Just check it out. Track it down.
Mm-hmm.
If you're still on cable, go watch some movies. You
There you go.
Max, go stream some movies. It's all good.
Yep.
Yep.
On that note, we are going to take a quick break and be back with Geek News for you. And we're back. It is time for Geek News for you. In this segment, we bring a couple news items to the table for discussion. This week, it is Liz and myself. And Liz, would you like to go first, please? Good night, everybody.
Told you, didn't she?
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, last show, Thomas brought a news article about Disney getting sued for the lady's allergic reaction. And this is another lawsuit for Disney, but this time Disney's being sued for now this is a crazy story. Disney has a thing called Club 33. Now, you have to be like celeb status or have like bukus of money to make it on the list for Club 33. I will never be on Club List 33. To join Club 33, it's $35,000 just right off the bat, and then $15,000 a year. Now, what Club 33 gives you the rights to is say you go to the park and you get exhausted. They have VIP lounges for you. They have like gourmet cuisines that the regular park goers don't get. There are certain clubs you can get into that the regulars can't. So it's very exclusive, top of the line. And it takes about 15 years on their waiting list to get into Club 33. Now, I'm sure if you're a Kardashian or a Brad Pitt, that 15 years disappears for you. But me or you, it would take 15 years to get on this list. So, guy and girl, actually, it took them 20 years to get through this, on the waiting list, and they finally got to be on Club 33. They said, now I don't know because they're fighting this in court. They said that the husband was drunk inside of one of their theme parks and they kicked him out. So not only did you get kicked out of the park, they got kicked out of Club 33 also. So husband is now, they're suing. They have spent $400,000 on legal fees just to be put back on Club 33, where they can give Disney $15,000 a year.
Stay in a club that kicked their ass out. That's right. Hilarious.
It is.
More money than sense.
Yeah. Well, the husband's saying now that he wasn't drunk. It's actually a medical condition that he has. I mean, I think it's a medical condition brought on by vodka, but hey, I think for Disney to take the steps of actually removing a VIP from their park, you'd have to know that that the guy was drunk. You just can't be willy-nilly about it. So, of course, they have not, what people don't seem to understand is that although Disney is a public theme park, they're privately owned. So they could not like your shoes and tell you to get the fuck away from them. That's their right because they own it. So Disney's pretty much standing their ground going, no, we don't want you back, because to be a part of Club 33, you have to be better than regular park patrons, but we don't allow regular park patrons to get drunk at the theme park either, So I understand what Disney's saying. They do hold you at a higher standard. If you're paying $15,000 a year, you should probably have a little bit more class than everybody else. But, yeah,
class and money have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah. But I thought that was really interesting that they would, fight this hard, almost $500,000 to stay at a place that they don't want you at, But they said not only did they pay $15,000 for this membership every year, these people were known to spend about $125,000 a year at Disney Park. So if you're dropping that much cash, it's a lot different when someone who's spending that kind of money says, I'm not coming back, than me at Walmart going, I'll never shop here again. They don't care. But $125,000, they might care.
Hang on. Do we know this from personal experience? Have you really actually stood in a Walmart and shouted that out?
No. Kroger's, maybe.
Whoa.
Yeah. To me, that's insane. That's totally insane. And the husband, after they lost this last round, he's like, I'm done. This has set my retirement back now. I'm done with this. And the wife's is like, no, I'll sell a kidney to keep going. It's like, dude, they don't want you. I mean, how blunt does Disney have to be? You're now the
they're just not that into you.
Right.
Apparently they don't want your kidney either, but whatever.
And Disney's like, it's not us, it's you. So, wow, And I think even if I did do something like this, I wouldn't want it to be like publicly known that I'm spending $500,000 for somebody to take me that doesn't want me.
Wow. If you have to pay that much to get into the exclusive club, then you know what? how exclusive is it really?
Right. You don't need to be there. Yeah. But the wife is dead set. This was my bucket list dream. Please,
Right, raise your standards. Holy
Yeah.
cow. Maybe drink better vodka or something. I don't know.
Right.
Plenty of ways to spend that kind of money.
Now, if he wasn't drunk and that's your thing, I could say, yeah, that's pretty sad. But I think they have clubs going, no, we served him beer and wine and he had been drinking. So at that point, they just got to let it go. In Disney's words, let it go. Let it go.
Wow.
They've been frozen out.
In the sun, the rain is snow. Love is lovely.
Let it go.
I've been kind of musical tonight, haven't I? Woo-hoo.
You have.
It's a musical episode.
All right. I have a couple of items I wanted to bring to the table. Because they kind of caught my attention. And they're both DC Studios related. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun.
There's a report out there that Josh Brolin has been offered the role of Hal Jordan in the Lanterns series.
Huh.
There has been talk of a series called Lanterns, which was actually going to feature Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. This was going to be on HBO. So there's no
series.
Yeah, series.
Is this a live action or is this animated?
Live action.
Josh Brolin?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Cable, Thanos, young version of Kay, Jonah Hex. He's done some comic book characters.
Oh. They got Tom King writing it.
Well, and Damon
Lindelof.
Lindelof, yeah.
Interesting. Any word on who they got pegged for Jon Stewart?
No, not right now. So
That may not be too bad.
Sure, Josh Brolin would love your enthusiasm.
Well, because I started thinking about this, and I know there's some people who have complained, is like, well, he's too old. Well, they're obviously going with a veteran for Jordan because Jon Stewart's supposed to be a new recruit. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I mean, I can kind of see it. Then I started really thinking about it. Remember who's playing Guy Gardner in the Superman movie? Nathan Fillion. I would love to see the two of them go at each other. That could be fun.
That could be fun.
So there's been no official word that of a response, but who knows?
So you think he'll put this out before he puts Peacemaker out, or nah?
Don't get yourself hung up on that.
Well,
I'm
I just saw.
curious, for it.
Right.
Well, I just saw something today that Peacemaker is supposed to. The second season is supposed to come out toward the end of next year because it's supposed to have some ties to the Superman film.
That's not what she wanted to hear, man.
Did I say that out loud?
You did. I felt the disturbance in the force from here.
Ask and ye shall receive.
Oh man.
You
It's
wanted
not
a date.
as soon as you want it. Yeah.
Well, there probably isn't a date for lanterns at this point, so
No.
anything could happen.
Well, it sounds like if they're going to put, if they're going to use Guy Gardner, which did you say they were thinking or?
No. I was just saying that would be great to have the two of them together since Nathan Fillion's playing Guy Gardner.
Yeah. Then it may be after Superman also, since they're introducing the lanterns again in Superman.
Well, they're in. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, the Guy
Somewhere in
Gardner
that time frame,
Yeah.
Which comes first is up for debate. But
well, I mean, who knows? Guy Gardner could be a veteran at this point. So, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.
Given how old Nathan Fillion is, it seems likely.
Right.
Doesn't it?
Right. Yeah. Definitely. So, I just want to see the two of them together, kind of battling off each other like they do in the comics.
Yep, that would be fun.
That would be fun. I could see them having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Pretty cool.
Okay, the other item I have. They said they have not officially pitched it to DC Studios as of right now. Which, when I read this, I was like, I thought there was something about this before, but I don't know. But apparently, Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum have an idea for an animated Smallville sequel series.
Huh.
Interesting.
That is. I would like that. And Michael Rosenbaum has done so many animated since Smallville. So it's like he'd be the good person to kind of.
Well, he was Flash on Justice League.
Yeah.
Which was so fun with the episode where Flash and Luthor changed bodies.
Has Tom Welling done any voice work?
I have no idea.
Not much he has.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't. Huh. Well, I would like that because he can redeem himself from Lucifer.
What part did he play on Lucifer?
He was Cain.
Okay.
I
don't remember that, but okay.
Yeah, he was the
If you don't
big
remember
bad
that, do you
villain
not remember Liz's rant about it? Holy shit.
Which episode was that?
Right, which rant?
She rants in every episode, but that's beside the point.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
What season was that? It wasn't the last season, but the season before the last season. He came in at the end of one season as like the police chief, I think. And then like the next season after it could have been the very end of that season or the beginning of the next season, we find out that he's really Cain, which of course was the first biblical serial killer. And he had a mark on him and he could never die and he could never experience happiness or love or anything, So he was trying
killed off the series.
I guess part of my big problem with that was it was hard for me to see Tom as a bad guy.
Sure.
And he didn't play a bad guy well because even if he's telling someone, I'm going to slaughter your puppies and feed it to your cat, he still got this like charm and good boy look to him, so you can't really take him serious. So I just in that role, he didn't really deliver it, He tried, but he's too good.
So have they said anything about story? Have they mentioned any of this, or is this just these two guys have an idea?
Well, I mean, it doesn't really go into any kind of details of what the story would be, but they're talking about, they have some ideas, and apparently they're talking to the rest of the cast about joining, and then of course they're going to have to approach James Gunn and them about, hey, here's our idea of what we want to do and what we want to, and see what happens.
Is he running animation too? Is that how that works
I
over there at DC Studios?
I think it's everything. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because he's doing that monster series.
Oh yeah, the Creature Commandos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think that's supposed to be out later this year, isn't it?
Yeah, that's supposed to be out here, like maybe here real soon.
It's September, guys. We're
Yeah.
getting close to the end of the year
we're
already.
at the end of the year.
I mean, we've got a few episodes left, but getting there.
And if they needed a Batman, there's another Smallville veteran that could help them out with that. And he's played Batman.
Nope, that ain't gonna work. Sorry.
Tim Daly's getting kind of old to do Batman. I mean, come on.
Y'all are bad.
Oh, we're bad?
We're bad, right. We're the bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with Jensen.
There's nothing wrong with
I'll
Jensen.
fight you over it.
December 5th is when Creature Commandos.
I was totally just mugging so Tom could look that up. That's all I was doing. Totally. Oh my God.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yep.
I'd watch a animated Smallville.
I bet you would.
I would. I'd watch the shit out of that.
Anyway.
Oh, man.
Any special shout-outs or mentions this week?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Unless we want to mention that today we lost James Earl Jones, which very surprising.
I mean, he was 93.
93.
Yeah, but usually you hear people being sick or they don't look so good or that was a shock to open the internet and find that out today.
I mean, it's a bummer for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Did a lot of great stuff.
A lot of great stuff. He was Mufasa.
He was Mufasa. He did a lot of stuff before what made him super duper famous.
Yeah.
Like Coming to America?
Yeah. We all have our off days.
He was good in that. What are you talking about?
He was, yeah. He was good.
He was good in that. He wasn't in it much, but he was good in it.
Mm-hmm.
He was impressive in Sandlot, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't he in Field of Dreams?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was, yeah. Looks like Conan the Barbarian.
He wasn't Conan. Whatever's in your hands needs to get put down now.
No. That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Right. Whatever.
Well, in that case,
I'm actually
hi, Phil.
Okay, we'll just move on to our regular shout-outs. First off, I want to thank Pop Goes to Culture for allowing us to be part of a great podcast network. We definitely recommend that you check them out. There will be a link in the show notes. We also want you to check out the fine men and women who are kind enough to spread the word of the fellowship on Twitter. They are known as Podern Family. The best way to check them out is to do a search, #PodernFamily. That's all one word. and scroll through the list, and whatever catches your attention, by all means, click on that link and download the episode. We hope you have a great time. I want to thank Manny the Martyr for supplying music to our podcast. There will be a link in the show notes where you can check out some of their other music. And finally, you, dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. And we value your feedback. Any questions, comments, suggestions, whatever, please send them our way. Email address is email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. Or you can go to the website, go to the About Us page, and there's a contact form that you can fill out there. We do have a Discord that you can join. We post a lot of news items, stuff for discussion, activities, that kind of thing. We do have a feedback section there that you can post your thoughts there if you'd like to do that. We do have an open invite for our Discord on the main page. And, of course, Discord is free to sign up and it's free on the app stores. Social media, we're on Facebook, The Fellowship of the Geeks. On Instagram and Twitter, we're at Fellowship Geeks. If you want to follow our personal Twitter accounts, Mike can be found at Mikey Geek. Liz can be found at LN_Geek. Les may or may not be found at Fake Les Webster. And I can be found at Tom TC Geek. And from wherever you download our episodes, if you'd be so kind as to rate and review our show, it would be greatly appreciated. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Just thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate the support as always. And until next time, geek on, my friends.
We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook at The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,